What's up, guys? We're about to talk about supremacy clause. Oh, yeah, the mad wolf howling mad, ready to get bad. So, what do we have here? Oh, we've got a goodie. This won't be necessarily a long video, but it will be a good one nonetheless. Boom. Let's take a gander. Okay, so we're at Cornell Law EDU. Hi, Cornell Law. Thank you guys for having stuff up here. Although you guys have a couple of mistakes on your website, but we'll leave it alone for now. All right, so what is the supremacy clause and constitutional clauses? Okay, so Article 4, Paragraph 2 of the U.S. Constitution is commonly referred to as the supremacy clause. So, for my people out there in certain offices of law enforcement, what does this say? Supremacy clause, U.S. Constitution. It establishes that the federal Constitution and the federal laws generally, which means not in every scenario, which usually means if by contract, okay, but the federal law and the Constitution take precedent over state laws. Because you guys don't know constitutional law. I'm not mad at you. Nothing but love for you. I know you guys watch my videos, saying my first rodeo. I've got friends and family who are police officers, friends and family who are in the military, DOD, FEMA, everything else, okay? And we've got no problems because I educate them on what's what. That's why even some of the private ones out there contacted and have contacted me to either change their standing or status, provide information on right to travel, you know, like good fellow Americans who, though during their job are acting as public trustees. That's what it is for a foreign corporation. But anyway, okay. So it prohibits what? It prohibits the states from interfering with federal government's exercise of its constitutional powers. Each state to be in the Union under the Constitution, my America. Put your chest out, say it with some bass. My America. Okay? To be underneath that, each state gave up some of its sovereignty to be in that group. They agreed to let all of the judicial stuff be handled by the federal government unless asked for in their higher courts. They do legislation, okay? Legislative courts, Article 1. Legalities, legalese, legal jurisdictions. Political. 14th Amendment, U.S. citizen. Corporations. Public transmitting utilities, or the straw man. Okay? That's why you guys got to get out of, or either get out of, or in adjacent to correctly use your legal name and your given name, or your private name, your celestial name, your tribal name, whatever you want to call it. You've got two parts of you, and you've been operating as one. The straw man. All right? You need to embrace your private side. Okay, so once again, it prohibits the states from interfering with federal government's exercise of its constitutional powers, meaning its constitutional rights, constitutional law, lawful, which is actual law, not state constitution, not codes for corporations, and from assuming any functions that are exclusively entrusted to the federal government. It does not, however, allow the federal government to review or veto state laws before they take effect. So they can't get you for a pre-crime, but if you do something, states, let me say this correctly, not the republic part of the state ofs, after the fact and it denies somebody their constitutional right, the government's going to step in. Hence, the Supreme Court, the federal courts. Okay, now let's see. And I haven't even checked this part, but let's look at constitutional clauses. The U.S. Constitution, including its amendments, is made up of hundreds of clauses. Okay, Commerce Clause, that should probably be a good one to read. Due Process Clause, you know, when you don't get your due process because they pull you over and pull you out of the car and slap handcuffs on you, don't take you in front of a magistrate. They have nothing signed by a judicial Article III judge who's licensed for law. Okay, full faith and credit. Everything you guys want to know right here. You can look up on Cornell Law, EDU, constitutional clauses. Okay, you want to learn about civics? It's all right here. I've never heard of the confrontational clause, but okay. Let's see, full faith and credit, just because we're here. Okay, so full faith and credit. It's a requirement that state courts respect the laws and judgments of courts from other states. Now, what's interesting is that it doesn't say just the United States. So that could be interestingly interpreted, because I have my own state. Okay, so they're basically saying that anything that's good in one state should be good in the other state. Okay, which is why when you get your birth certificate authenticated, or in this case, certified, apostilled, you've got full faith and credit. It's good in all the states. Why? Because the states really are, they themselves, independent, but operating underneath the same banner. They can still do their stuff independently. So you get that full faith and credit. That means all of them have to accept it. You accept mine, I'll accept yours. Search and seizure clause. Okay, it says that according to the U.S. Constitution, it must be reasonable. Normally, law enforcement must have a search warrant from a judge, and this must be a licensed judge, an Article III judge. Unless you're operating as a U.S. citizen, then you're on your own thing. Specifically, where and whom they may search, so they cannot just go through your car unless you're in the middle of a crime, a criminal offense, where there is a living person who has been damaged and hurt, or an emergency situation. Pulling you over on the side of the road if you're not doing anything but traveling properly in your private conveyance under UCC 9-109, can they not do that? Unless it's an emergency. That doesn't qualify as emergency. So let's see what reasonable means. Just, rational, appropriately, ordinary, reasonable care, and have no doubt in mind that it is criminal. Okay. So it goes on and on. You can stay on this site. This is why I like to go here, guys. A lot of you guys are out here reading the stuff, but you know, in manuals and people's little things and whatever, but until you go to Cornell or somewhere like that, where they have the hyperlinks, you don't know what some of these words mean. Equal protection clause. All right. So I'm not going to go into all of them because I could spend all day on this stuff with you guys forever, but you get the idea. So that's it. Federal government and the U.S. Constitution is the supreme law of the land. They are lawful. Article III courts, Article III judicial status. They get to judge. Okay, compared to the Article 1 lower courts, they're there mostly for their own members, or people who choose to waive their rights to be there. Gave you guys a lot right there. All right, that is it. Peace. Don't forget to hit that bell, like, subscribe. Just got to throw it in there. Talk to you guys later. Wolf's out. Woo, 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 woo. Woo, 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 woo. All right, all right. Wouldn't be the wolf if I didn't do something a little zany. You know, just a madman in the box. Welcome to the TARDIS. Time and relative displacement in space.